Who is Shanyr? Shanyr is a mom above all. I think the biggest purpose in my life is definitely to be like the best mom that I can be and the best example to my girls. A wife, she's a friend, and she's a business owner, she's a hustler. I know it can be tough and it can be difficult sometimes, but you know, she always pulls through and tries to figure out how to solve problems, look at problems from a solution perspective and figure out how to get past it and try to help as many people as possible. So I think that's who she is. I was born in Venezuela, but I moved to the Orlando, Kissimmee area when I was like 3 or 4 years old. When I was younger in Venezuela, I actually did a little bit of acting. I was in a soap opera over there. And then, of course, because of the way things are, my father decided that he wanted something more for us, and he moved we moved over here. And then growing up, I think that's what really pushes me and makes me want to give a better life to my daughters is, you know, we started from the bottom, and it was, my dad worked dead-end jobs, Wendy's, taxi, driver, all day, every day for chump change, but he still never gave up, and he still pushed through, and he still made a beautiful life that he's very successful. And that's kind of what really imprinted into myself and my DNA and what I want. I want to show the same thing to my girls, that, you know, even though sometimes there's going to be hard days, sometimes it's going to be exhausting, and there's going to be just sacrifices that we have to make, but then there's a bigger picture and a better future out there. Yeah. So before I was a realtor, prior to that, I actually helped run a martial arts school. And I'm very grateful for that experience because it did show me a lot about running a business, relationships with people, the psychology of the business. I'm very grateful for the mentorship that I had there. And I had a very close everybody in the company had a lot of availability with the owner of the company. He was always very available and would always do trainings, and I always felt like I was in the Tony Robbins seminar every week when we would go over there. So I learned a lot from him. And then once I got pregnant with my second baby, I had to let that go because it was a very demanding job. And then I started as a TC, pretty much the assistant to the realtors, for the first 2 years of her life when she was little, and that helped me also get to know more about the back end of the real estate, understand the paperwork, understand the processes of everything, but then also be able to spend time with my baby and watch her grow and be at home with her instead of working, you know, the entire time. But once she turned 2, she was old enough, then that's when I decided to start selling real estate and putting everything that I learned from the business end and from the real estate end together and start selling real estate. My biggest purpose in real estate, I guess, is there's a couple things. One is obviously to help people. I'm not in it to just make money just to make money. I genuinely enjoy seeing the faces in people, helping single moms buy their first home, helping investors grow their portfolio, helping someone who's trying to get out of tricky situations be able to leave something behind and start anew. But then also I saw real estate as the vehicle that would take me to the next level. And be able to provide for my girls on my own, you know. I'm in a relationship and I'm in a partnership, but I do want to be able to know that I can provide for them if, God forbid, something happens, and be able to stand on my own 2 feet. And real estate was that vehicle that could get me there while still being true to myself. So, I consider myself like a hustler, an entrepreneur. a businesswoman from always, like prior to getting into the real estate world, prior to even having kids, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pediatrician, and that was like my goal in life, was to go to medical school and everything. But looking back on it now, I realized it was never just go to school and work under someone else. Like, my goal was to have my own practice, to do things on my own, not work under someone. So that's kind of been in my blood. And I go back to my father. I feel like growing up with him and seeing him start from the bottom but create something that's his and always work towards that, kind of left its mark on me, and it was something that I strived to do. So when I started in this world, first I started as a transaction coordinator. That was my business and my little baby that I grew, and it was always something that I had to do on my own, and it grew into something super beautiful. I did everything, and it was great to know that it became a brand that people trusted when they thought of transaction coordination. Then I got into the real estate world, and of course, you're a realtor, you're under a broker, but you're your own business. No one's gonna be there to give you the deals, and it was nice. It was great to see how, with that work ethic that I have and that mindset of it's up to me and only me, that I was able to grow and be very successful. I mean, for a rookie agent, I had a lot of success, and I've had a lot of success, and I continue now to get referrals and everything from the real estate. And then now I'm venturing into property management for short-term rentals. So I just started Sweet Homes. And it's with the same kind of concept of serving people and helping not only the owners, but helping the clients, the people that are staying there, have a great experience, and always putting, the relationships with the people that we have in this business over any kind of transaction, and trying to make the experience great. So yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to reinvent myself and trying to see what other ways I can leave a footprint in this world, and especially leave something behind that my girls can now, once I'm long gone and once they're older, they have these tools in front of them that they can just continue to run and continue to, give them the lifestyle that they deserve. Anaya and Penelope are a ball of energy. I don't know, anywhere they go, I just feel like they light up the room. And their personalities, they're two polar opposites, but also very similar. And it's so cute to see, like, how they develop. Anaya's more sporty, more laid back, tomboy. And then Penelope's like she has arrived. She is like a beauty queen. She loves makeup she loves makeup. She loves to it's something that just like naturally was born into her. She loves taking pictures. She loves posing. She's not afraid to dance in front of anybody at any time. And it's just so fun to see. And from them, I don't know, it just teaches me that. Like, when I see them, I'm like, if they're so tiny, they're not afraid of anything. Like, so why should I be afraid of anything? And it's cool to see that, and to also see like the imprint that I'm leaving in them, to see them like come to me for things that, so like sometimes I feel like I don't even have figured out, but then we figure it out together, to know that like mom's got them. Like, if they need anything, like they go straight to me, and it just gives me like that push, to keep it that way, let them know that, that I'm always going to be there for them. And I also love to see that they're very, how can I put it? But they're so wise beyond their years, and especially Anaya, who's older and sees things a little more. But I can see her in the future, just like all the things that she's gonna accomplish, the way she talks to me, the things that she tells me, the way that she sees life and understands certain things. It just amazes me, and just gives me the push to, again, it's not about the money or anything like that, but it's about leaving them a legacy, leaving them something that when they're older, and whatever it is that they want to pursue, whether it's dancing, which is something that they love, or acting, or whether it's continuing in this business, or whatever it is that they want to do, to know that they've got the tools to do it, that what mom worked so hard for gave them the opportunity to say, okay, I can do this, or I can do whatever I want. So. I know the basics. So where it came from, I've read and seen a lot that teaching, it's kind of like challenging them mentally, and seeing what they're capable of. At such a young age, they're super capable. I mean, I've seen kids younger than her at 1-2 years old already communicating with sign language, and the English language or Spanish language is something that they're gonna have, but why not try to challenge them a little bit more and add something else that is gonna trigger their brain in a different way to communicate, so it's gonna develop it more. But then also it's a way for them to be able to help in the future someone who maybe they see struggling, or maybe they see a new friend in school. Now they know basics, but they can learn to communicate with them. So that's where it came from. I wanted to see what other ways I can kind of like challenge her brain a little bit more, and see how she solves this problem, and see how she can absorb that information. And evidently it was like that. It was like in that first day, the first couple signs that we learned, she instantly got it, and it stuck. It wasn't like she got it that day and then we forgot it. Sometimes even I'm like, okay, how do you say mom or dad? And then she'll tell me like, this is mommy, this is daddy. And okay, you're right, like she got it. And like basics ones and also a way, apart from the development, a way for kids to be able to communicate with you when they don't know how to communicate. Because kids will be kids, sometimes they're emotional, or they don't know how to say, or they're shy. So then I'll tell her to sign it to me, talk to me with your hands, and then she'll tell me what she wants, and that way she feels comfortable still communicating with me without having to verbally say anything. So like some basic ones like water, or please and thank you, apple juice, mommy, daddy, share, that one I say all the time, to share, little things like that if she wants more, eat, and it just makes it simpler to communicate with each other, I guess. Yeah. So I had Anaya when I was 19 years old. 6 months after graduating, I found out I was pregnant. So that was a surprise. That was definitely not in my plans at all. I was going to college and I was working, and it was difficult. Mentally as well. I don't think I was mentally prepared or emotionally prepared for what it would bring. But thankfully, and I know a lot of women unfortunately don't have that, but thankfully I had a lot of support, more than a lot of people can say, not just with my partner, with their father, but also with my parents, support during the pregnancy, support after the pregnancy, caring for her, helping me raise her was tremendous. So even though I was a really young mom, I'm very grateful for the support that I had. But it was tough, especially when you're so young, you have barely even started to experience the world, and now you have to raise another human to the best of your ability, and you haven't even finished raising yourself. You're still growing, you're still learning. So it was scary to I don't know, just to make sure that you feel like you don't want to screw up, or you don't want to do things wrong. And a lot of people at the time that I had in my life, said, thankfully, not people that I have anymore in my life, or thankfully it wasn't someone that is close to me. But the usual, the kid raising a kid, she's screwing up her life, she doesn't know what she's doing. But that was all fuel, because I knew, I had to do it. I couldn't just turn a blind eye and continue. And obviously some women, every woman's situation is different, and I respect every way that people do it, but in that moment I felt like I had to move forward and just prove everybody wrong and prove it to myself that I could do it. I felt comfortable in the situation that I was in. Like I said, I had the support of my partner and my family, so I felt like if I just ignored them and just pushed through, it was something that I could do, and I did it, and I'm grateful that of the daughter that I have, because she's I don't know. So a lot of people tell me you did. I don't know what I did to deserve her, but she is amazing. I'm saying, damn. Yeah, true. What do I like to do? I mean, on my free time, I honestly like to just relax. Kind of just be with myself, watch Friends. Friends is like my go-to happy show. I could watch it I don't know how many times I've watched the entire show already. And just kind of relax, have a cup of coffee, and just lay down and just be with myself. On my day-to-day, like things that I enjoy, I love watching movies. I'm a movie buff. I have an obsession with Marvel movies, and I love seeing the Marvel, like the superhero shows and the movies, and then seeing the break. I don't know. It's just something that I enjoy. It's like the nerd in me, that seeing the breakdowns and the Easter eggs and what they mean and everything like that. But in general, I love seeing movies, like the acting, the story that they're telling. I don't know. It's something that I enjoy and that I have a lot of fun with. And then outsidey, like I love to travel. I love to get to know the world, see different cultures, see different ways that people live. When I went to Europe, it was so like eye-opening to see like how, especially Rome. I don't know if you've been to Rome, but it's like an open museum. Like you go in there and it's so ancient, like historic buildings and really old. Like you look at the streets and you're like thousands and thousands of people have walked through these streets like thousands of years ago in carriages, like before anything, and now we're here and it still exists. So it's really fun to travel for me, to see like the stories that other people can tell. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I like to do. I love the movie Blow with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz. That movie's amazing. I highly recommend it. Marley and Me, although I haven't been able, I've only watched it twice and I can't watch it. I have a soft spot for animals and dogs especially. And as far as, those are like individual movies that I really love. But then I also have like, I love all the Marvel movies. I can watch them on a daily basis, and Star Wars. Those two are like movies that when I have nothing to do, or when I'm traveling on the plane, I'll put them on and rewatch them. It's stories that I can rewatch over and over again. I love tacos. Or Italian. I could live off of those two things. I mean, that I've been in, I think Rome. But to live in, to travel, Rome. It's like you're stepping into another world. But to live in, I would love to live in LA. That's where I want to live. I love that it's very similar to Orlando. I've grown up here, so maybe that's why I feel like everything's just normal here. But over there, I just feel like you have everything. You've got mountains, you've got the coast, you've got city life. Like, you can do a little bit of everything, and people there are just so like, I don't know, I just have a lot of fun when I go to LA. In 10 years, I don't think in 10 years I'll be, I'm going to be 38, and my kids Anaya's going to be 18, so I don't think I'm going to be 14. I probably won't. But do I see myself living there? I don't think living permanently, but having a house there that I visit very often, yes. I do see myself. Or Hawaii, I forgot about that. I love when I went there, I could live in Hawaii. There I could retire. I could just, once I'm done, just go over there and live the rest of my life in Hawaii. One word to describe myself, I would say determined. And the reason why is because I feel throughout my life, you know, like everyone, you know, you have obstacles thrown at yourself. You have situations where you almost see no light at the end of the tunnel. But I've always been determined to get through it and to move past it, whether it's obstacles that are physically in front of you or things that happen in your life, but also mentally and emotionally. Like I've been able to just get through things that are really tough for me and kind of gain the power to just rise up and still pass through and see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. I think for one of the most important ones for sure is honesty. Honesty with others, you know, being very honest with your limits and your what you tell people, but also being honest with yourself and knowing when you're in an uncomfortable situation or when you don't want to do something or you don't want to be something, being honest with yourself and not allowing yourself to do those things. I think that's very important, because if not, lying to yourself or lying to others just doesn't, you're just gonna get trapped into this dark hole that just you're not gonna feel comfortable in, and it's gonna drive you crazy. And then also, I can't think of that. I think being honest. Oh, Bernie. My boy. Who's Bernie? Bernie is the big fluff ball in our home. So we have two dogs. We have Bernie, who is a huge, like this big Bernese Mountain Dog and Poodle mix. And he's my boy. He's my dog. He's 125 pounds. And then I also have Bella, who is she's like 11 pounds. She's a Silky Terrier. Those are my canine babies. Those are the reason why I love animals and the reason why I can't watch Marley and Me is because of them. But they're the dogs that light up our life, and it's so cool to see my kids grow up with them, because now that's another thing that I love so much, because of growing up with those animals and growing up, even though they're dogs and people think, you know, that not everybody, but it's easy to love a dog and it's easy to care for a dog. But with them growing up with dogs, they've been able to have respect and love for all animals and for our world, for every living being that's here. So it's so beautiful to see them through the love that the dogs have given them and that they give back. They really do respect like anything. It's today there was a frog in our house. We woke up to a frog and we put it in a little like bowl thingy and let it out, and it was so cute, even though I was disgusted, and to see Penelope like genuinely care for the frog, even though it's not like, you know, you don't really think that, but she was scared. She wanted to make sure that we didn't hurt it and that he got home back into the lake safe, you know. So, and she didn't want to touch it, but she still was like, you know, don't hurt it. So yeah, all through our canine companions. So some advice that I can give, one is know that it is going to get hard. So that hard part, that exhausting part, that part where you're like, oh my God, I don't even know if I can do this. It's part of it. Like it's normal for you to feel that. So when you're feeling that, know that you're going through the journey, and it just means that you're doing something right. Because if you're working that hard, it's for something. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help, because it is a lot. It does take a lot of your time, having your head wrapped in your business, but then also when you get home, it doesn't stop. You know, you don't get to go home and just relax. You gotta get home and cook dinner and tuck kids into bed and walk dogs and do everything all simultaneously, and it's so easy to just feel like you're the only one that can do it. But don't be afraid to ask for help, because there are a lot of people that can help you, whether it's family, friends, or seek help that, to just let it out, whether it's an online therapist or things like that, because it can get overwhelming and it is tough. Like, it is part of it for it to be tough, but that doesn't mean you have to go at it alone. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And I think those would be my two biggest advices. Hi, this is Shanyr. Thank you for watching my interview in More Home Studio. I hope you enjoyed it.